English by the Nature Method by Arthur M. Jensen. Brought to you by Ayan Academy.
Chapter 29. In London. Wood. It seems to me that there are so many trains now. Every minute a train goes past us. Storm. Yes, it seems that we are near London now. Mr. Miller. We are not only near London, we are in Greater London. Brown. I have never seen so many trains before. It seems as if there is no end to them. And all the trains which go in the opposite direction are so filled with people that many of them cannot find any seats and have to stand on their feet. But in the trains going in the same direction as we go, there are so few people that they are almost empty. Mr. Miller. Yes, and no wonder. The trains going in the opposite direction come from London, and all the people in them are going home from work. Remember, it is past 5 o'clock now. At this time of the day, everyone is leaving London, and no one is going the opposite way. That is why all the trains going up to London are almost empty. A little later, they arrived at one of the main stations of London. It was a very large building. A great many people were standing on the platforms waiting for their trains. Wood. How many platforms do you think there are? Storm. Let us try to count them. They all started counting. Storm. What a great number! I counted 24. Wood. Then you must add 1 to your number, for I counted 25. Storm. Well, Brown, tell us the right number now. How many did you count? Brown. You must add 1 to Wood's number. I think there are 26. Mr. Miller. Well, we know that there are between 20 and 30. Some of the main stations of London, and there are 11 or 12 of them, have between 20 and 30 platforms. Many porters were very busy working on the platforms. As soon as a train stopped at a platform, some of them were ready to take the travelers' luggage, and already before the train of our 4 travelers had stopped, one had got onto it. He came up to them and asked them if he might help them to carry their luggage. Mr. Miller. No, thank you. We have only 1 bag each, so we can easily carry them without your help. When they had got off the train, Mr. Miller said, Now we will go by an underground train to the part of London where our hotel is. Wood. Underground? What does that mean? Mr. Miller. The underground is a railway which is built under the streets and buildings of London. You can go to many places in London by underground. Wood. Isn't it a wonder to think that they can build railways under the streets and buildings of a large city? Just then a train arrived at the underground station. Wood. There is a train. Let us run. He began to run along the platform, but it was too late. Just before he got to the door, it closed, and off the train went. Wood. Oh, I am so sorry that we were late for it. Now we must wait for the next train. Mr. Miller. You need not be sorry about that. We shall not have to wait very long. 2 minutes later, another train arrived. When they had got into it, Brown tried to close the door, but Mr. Miller said, You need not close it. The doors close of themselves. The train was so filled with people that there were no seats empty. Mr. Miller and the 3 young men had to stand, but it was only for a few minutes. They soon arrived at Tottenham Court Road Station, where they got off the train. As the hotel was only 5 minutes away from the station, they decided to walk. While they were walking along, the 3 young men told Mr. Miller that now they found that they understood much of the language. While they were standing in the underground train, They had heard some people from an office talking together, and they had understood most of what they said. Mr. Miller: That was what I told you. Many porters speak bad English, and that is very difficult for you to understand. But English as spoken by people working in an office, for example, will not be so difficult. You will soon find that you can understand very much of what they say.